Not one, not two, not three, not even four, but five strong, independent women who don't need no man. Not one, not two, not three, not four, but five super diverse, strong, independent women who don't need no man, kicking men through windows, body slamming them, doing karate chops to their carotid arteries. What else could you possibly want? This movie is Hollywood, like, it's not personified, but it is like this is the movie Hollywood says you want. Jessica Chastain, all female, ultra progressive, totally awesome chick spy movie where they're like dropping the people's elbow and doing corkscrew. They're launching at Dukins. They're doing all this stuff. They spent $75 million filming this movie, which is actually like it's not actually that crazy of a budget. $75 million for the ultra progressive, not one, not two, not three, not four, but five strong, independent, and diverse women who don't need no man. $150 million break-even point. It hit the box office, and it made $4 million. Wop, 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 wop. Jessica Chastain's all-female, ultra-progressive, The 355, tanks in theaters, a sign that woke messaging is dead. Well, I don't think that that's not. It's just nobody wants to see, 90-pound women kicking men through walls. It's just, unless they have a superpower. If they have like a superpower, okay, I can suspend reality. Not that many men could kick other men through walls either, but it's at least possible. All female, ultra progressive 355 hits theaters and is already destined to end up as another lackluster action flop, the same as Matrix Resurrections, rehasherations. Based on a very loose connection to a supposed female spy during the American Revolution, the film cobbles together a handful of female stars led by Jessica Chastain as they work to prevent a terrible event from happening. Not the best or most unique premise in the world, but hey, by the way, Liam Neeson keeps making the same movie and over again, and I still enjoy it. And it's clearly evident by the mainstream critic scores, which are abysmal. However, put the story aside, and the question is why the 355 started out so poorly and will no doubt end its theatrical run without even having made enough money to recoup its budget. It's all about progressivism, baby. Very tiny women taking on huge, gigantic men with literally no effort, check. Stupid male characters who fall for simple, spicy tricks employed by women, check. Male security guard getting totally crushed for doing his job just despite the patriarchy, check. Interracial for absolutely no reason, relationships, check. Girl power hero ends all of the leads, check. An audience are sick of it. Even Benjamin Lee of the extremely far left newspaper The Guardian claimed, quote, simply replacing male action heroes with women and then standing back and waiting for applause is not quite enough. Whoa! Even the critics? The issue is not whether the 355 is woke or unwoke, entertaining or boring. None of that matters because audiences gave up on the movie before it ever even made the cinemas. 2021 was the year that broke the back of leftist culture, and 2022 will be the year that determines whether or not the left stays the course or doubles down. Well, I assure you, the doubling down is going to be the way they go. Look, there's a lot of factors here. Advertising. Don't think I ever saw a single ad on TV for this movie. Did you? Usually these like low budget movies gobble up a lot of advertising on YouTube because it's cheap and you can get a lot of impressions. I didn't see any ads for the 355 running on YouTube. I didn't see any page takeovers. So, I don't know if it's necessarily fair to say, and also, by the way, what we know now is the people that are willing to go to the movie theater are really only willing to support a single movie at once. Spider-Man, No Way Home or Far From Home or Homeward Bound or whatever. Excellent movie. I'm just, I get the names mixed up. It continues. It's like the third or fourth week in a row where it's the #1 movie, and it's been out for almost a month now, maybe more than a month. What's ironic about the 355 is that there is, in fact, a way to make this type of movie and or make it work. Yes, the idea of an action film with an all-female cast of leads isn't impossible, nor should it be particularly difficult to pull off. All it takes is knowledge of basic realities about gender biology. Stop making all the male leads imbeciles, betas, or evil, and give both genders a reason to cheer. The progressive content, by the way, this is via Bounding into Comics and Slade Hale. I think this is the first article I read from him. Seems well written. So the progressive content of the film isn't what's killing it. Rather, it's the combined weight of all of the other progressive woke films and TV shows that have come out over the past 2 years, which have alienated a vast majority of moviegoers. I would agree with this take. Couple that with studios continuously blaming the fans and labeling them as all sorts of ists and phobes. It's easy to wait to see where this is going. Now when audience look at the 355, they see Paul Feig's abysmal 2016 Ghostbusters reboot. Very valid point. Dang, that's a good article here, bud. Instead of seeing all the female version of the Expendables, they see a countless bait and switches like Masters of the Universe, Hawkeye, and Loki. It doesn't matter if the film is all that or none of that. The damage has already been done. I would agree with that. Like, I would 100% agree with that take. People are wounded from trash movies existing and getting crammed down our throats, and then we get yelled at when we don't see the movie. That's the issue here. The film was directed by Simon Kinberg, a man with quite a few non-woke properties under his belt. He's written and or produced Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter, which is a fun movie, X-Men Days of Future Past, and Deadpool 2. Unfortunately, his only other big screen directorial credit is 2019's Dark Phoenix, which was very bad. Jessica Chastain, for her part, came up with the idea for the film and is credited as the producer. She somehow thought it would be a good idea to cast herself in the lead in the film, perhaps out of misguided sense of authenticity following her stint in Zero Dark 30. At 5'4", weighing in 120 pounds, Chastain is shown to be tossing burly, jacked males 3 times her size around like rag dolls. Where have we seen this before? Yes, you guessed it, everywhere. Whether or not it's the absurdity of watching 5'1" actress Natalia Reyes beating up multiple hulking males in Terminator Dark Fate at the same time, or almost every female character in the CW show or Marvel film sending them flying through plate glass windows and walls, it's become too much. The average male cannot suspend enough disbelief to make it work, and neither can women, which is part of the ironic part. This might be a fine for a superhero movie, which is the point I made, where both males and females are gifted with powers or tech that allow them to achieve this sort of thing. In a real-life scenario, Chastain and her co-star would get thrashed in record time. It wouldn't even be a contest. Even Charlize Theron's character from Atomic Blonde was lost plenty of fights before she managed to defeat her male opponents. That's far more realistic depiction of such an encounter, as opposed to the silly ballet-style martial arts moves from female heroes who barely break a sweat. Indeed, Atomic Blonde does take the win here. Yeah, it's a decent movie. And when you look at, 355 goes down as 2020's first box office disaster. The success of Spider-Man No Way Home has proven to be an anomaly, with the latest chapter in the MCU grossing $1.4 billion at the box office, coming to close to doubling the previous high for Hollywood blockbuster during the post-lockdown era, which was set by No Time to Die. The theatrical industry is still a long way from recapturing its former glories. It never will. And while No Way Home should be lauded at every turn for bringing in those dollars, plenty of other titles are nowhere near as fortunate. A case in point is the 355, which faces the unfortunate distinction of going down in history books as 2022's first disaster. As a result, the most recent estimates have the 355 failing to even make $5 million in its opening weekend, which is pretty dire given by current standards. Chastain's reinvention as an action hero has so far yielded 2 duds in a row after 2020's Ava sank without a trace. And even though she's been singled out for praise on both occasions. Well, of course. 250 whole reviews. The people that actually paid to see it liked it. You know, the critics, even the critics hated it. Now, this isn't normally necessarily a bad thing because usually the critics do hate something. It's just interesting when, you know, a movie that's clearly made to appeal to critics tanks. 355 flops with 4.3 million in debut. Yikes. Most of the Hollywood films that have been coming out have been losing money if you've been tracking it. And this one is going to lose a boatload. What can I say? If only there were a saying for this. I mean, the author of the article on Bounding into Comics is 100% right. They overdid it, and people are sick of it. And now when they see it, they just tune out. Nobody wanted this movie. Nobody was going to risk getting sick for this movie. Nobody's going to wear a mask to go see this movie. Nobody's going to prove their poke status to see this movie, which, by the way, my local theater has several theaters that require that. And I was at the movie yesterday, and this was in one of them. So this movie was the only movie at my entire movie theater that was requiring proof of poke, which seems odd to me. But anyway, I saw Nightmare Alley, and I actually liked it. I gave that, I think I gave it a 7.5 out of 10 or 7.75 out of 10. If you like The Prestige and movies like that, you probably like that. But yeah, no, I think nobody really is buying this female version of the Expendables, and it was a hilarious flop. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.